You're listening to the Midlife Plot Twist Podcast, and here we are at episode 7. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode. My name is Jennifer. I'm in my 40s, and I am in the middle of an interesting midlife plot twist. It's not just interesting, it's also scary and exciting. What is that plot twist, you ask? Or what does this mean? Well, I was going along for years in grad school with the intention of becoming a professor in sociology. I've always wanted to be a published writer, and becoming a professor would take care of that. I've always wanted to lead, inspire, and support others, and the teaching aspect of being a professor would take care of that. I've always had a special interest in learning about and understanding things deeply, and the research aspect of being a professor would take care of that. And finally, I wanted a job that allowed me to be autonomous insofar as making my own schedule and being my own boss was concerned. Becoming a professor would take care of that as well. And I wanted it so badly. And in 2018, I landed a position at my local university and started to live out this dream of being a professor. Now in my 40s and waking up to the fact that I'm in midlife and looking ahead at what I want for the next half of my life, I realized over time that it's not this. I still want to be a published writer, a leader, and a source of inspiration and support, a curious researcher and an independent worker, just not in the form that being a professor takes. So what now? To help with my reflections, I worked with some questions that I made that I want to share with you in case you find them helpful in your own journey. If you go to my Instagram account, which is under Midlife Plot Twist Podcast, you can click on the link tree in my bio to access a completely free Midlife Plot Twist Starter guide that I created. In it, I share 10 questions that have helped me gain clarity around what I am doing and where I am going next. You can also send me an email at midlifeplottwistpodcast, all one word, at gmail.com, and I'll send you the guide directly if you don't have Instagram, for example. Okay, so I've also been on sick leave for quite a while now. Sick leave started with catching COVID and continued because of its now chronic consequences, but also because I realized that I was suffering from burnout from work. My physical and emotional needs have changed dramatically over this time, and I've asked myself, what does a future look like for me in which I am supported physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? And I have to say that one question is really new for me. I've never thought of work in terms of how it would support me beyond the materially. And I've also thought of sort of general fulfillment, but like what supports the reality of my needs physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I haven't really thought about it in that kind of depth. And I decided to go after these dreams, which I've had since I was a kid, or this one dream, which I've had since I was a kid, and that's to be a therapist. I'm currently trained as a trauma-informed coach, which is different. However, I'm not yet trained to be a psychotherapist, which is what I'm going to go after. So part of my midlife plot twist is to go back to school. After spending 15 years in university, getting a master's degree and a PhD, I didn't ever think I would be going back again to do another master's degree. But here we are. I applied to do a master's in social work and am waiting to receive the results of this, hopefully today or this week sometime. Please let it be today. The suspense is so difficult. It amplifies that feeling of being in limbo that I talked about in episode 2. Waiting for this decision is one of the reasons why I've been holding off on resigning from my current position. There's something about being accepted into that program that makes me feel more secure about leaving my job. And so I'm waiting for that answer to, think or get things in motion in that respect. I know that maybe doesn't make very much sense, but that's how I'm feeling. And I think we need to hold on to whatever anchors we can that make us feel a bit more secure in these moments where we're in between things and like in limbo, like I mentioned. Then the main reason, though, is that I'm still in recovery and working on learning to take care of myself better in terms of pacing myself and living within my limited energy envelope, as they say. As I record this, I see notifications actually igniting the screen of my cell phone, and every time one does, I get a bit distracted because I'm looking anxiously to see if it's about my application, and so far it hasn't been. But I did just now receive a notification that my coaching profile on Psychology Today has just been accepted. That's funny timing. So once I start taking on new clients again in my coaching practice, when I feel up to it health-wise, I will have that profile to promote myself on. So that's another platform that I can use, and that's great. I feel like the timing of that email coming in as I discuss this right now feels like a sign. I can't resist. I think I'm going to check the online portal one more time to see if the status has changed. Oops. Sorry about that clicking. No, it still says pending. I was kind of hoping that the news would come in while I was recording this episode, but no luck. All right. Well, folks, that's all for this episode today. I think, my goal for this podcast was to make shorter episodes anyways, to support my energy capacity and my neurodivergence. But this one is especially short. I'll let you know that it's because of my disappointment. No, I'm just kidding. It's because my basement partially flooded yesterday and there's a plumber here today working on fixing the issue, and it's really distracting. So consider this episode just an update. Please don't forget to head over to Midlife Plot Twist on Instagram to get your free copy of the Midlife Plot Twist Starter Guide that I mentioned earlier in the episode. Or email me at midlifeplottwistpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, please cross your fingers for me about that application. And be well.